all the videos and stuff on this so far. I really do appreciate it. I cannot wait to see this book in person. I'm really excited about this process. And yeah, I'll see you in the new year. Happy holidays. Hello, how's it going? Sorry about the wait for an update on my photo book. Let's get up to speed. I received my first copy of American Daydream back in... Damn, it's a lot smaller than I thought it would be. Right off the bat, the colours look a bit unusual. Okay, everything's going to need a bit more room, I think. Nice, nice. Wow, it's like the preview that I had of this, like the digital preview versus the physical like copy of it, is night and day. This gives me a great place to go from now and make some changes. The first draft of the zine was quite a departure from what I was hoping it was going to be, and that's okay because this is my first ever book. There was a bunch of unforeseen problems with it. It wasn't something I would personally enjoy picking up and looking at, and I just felt like I could do better. I spent another few months with more photo books and some really nice photo-heavy magazines, hunting for new inspiration while reworking my original vision for the book, slowly finding the right combination of changes. Then I took the first draft to my photography pals Sam and Lee, who gave me some excellent feedback and advice, and I found this step in the process totally invaluable as it allowed me to remove my head from my own hairy arse for a minute and see things from an external perspective.
Well, then the design is changing throughout.
Like line here, you know?
That would be cool.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that could really work.
Yeah.
Like you don't even need to.
I think that's a good middle ground of not resorting to putting a photo there for the sake of it.
After gathering a bunch of new inspiration and direction, I spent an eye-watering $44.99 on a second draft. Oh. I'm actually pretty nervous for this. I don't want to have to make another draft, you know? Mainly because of the money, but also because I feel like everyone's been waiting long enough. Oh man, I'm tense. I'm so fucking tense right now. Okay. Oh. 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 Okay. Damn, it's fucking massive. It's absolutely huge. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. Oh my god, it's so much better. Oh my god, it's... So as you might have gathered, I was pretty happy with the second draft. It wasn't without its own new issues, but by comparison to the first, it was a massive jump forward. Okay, I'm only gonna cover the big changes here just to avoid you dying of boredom. The second draft, in the spirit of America, has been supersized. These are the dimensions for the first draft, and then these are the dimensions for the second draft. It's to make the actual experience of looking at the photos much more enjoyable. The photos are obviously so much bigger, which I love. Everything has been moved out a little bit. Everything's been given a little bit more space from this center line, which is the gutter. I think that's a much better experience of actually looking at the book versus this, where the photos kind of seem to just be sandwiched together. Notebook scans. As you can see here, this photo got flipped round. It's been moved down here to kind of fit the page better, but moving forward, that needs some adjustment as well. I also opted for a thicker cover on the front of the book with a glossy lamination. I did this just because I think it gives it a bit more pop, a bit more like vibrancy and stuff. With this matte lamination, it does feel like a standard issue zine, as opposed to the glossy lamination feels a bit more like a really high quality magazine. And again, it kind of dips its toe in that kind of Americana feeling, I guess. It felt right. So the other thing I did was change the binding to staple bound. This basically means that the zine can lie totally flat, which is great because I wanted you to be able to lay the book like this and actually see both photos rather than in the first zine where you're kind of forcing it to peel apart. Okay, let's talk about what I don't really like about the second draft. It tends to do this like weird kind of clamshell bubbly thing where this part here just never closes. It's just always open like this. It does kind of have this like, I don't know, cheap feel to it, you know? With these notebook scans, I think something has to get adjusted here because it does literally just look like it has been pasted onto the page. Even though the second draft was far better than the first draft, it still wasn't quite right. And realising I was going to have to do a third draft was a bit disappointing, only given that I had said originally I could only really afford to do 1 or 2 drafts, but I knew that it was going to be worth it to do it again and to do it right. This round of revision ended up turning into quite a heavy reworking of things, with a lot of the little elements being adjusted, and even though they were subtle, this redraft made a massive difference to the overall feel and look of the zine. Even though I didn't really appreciate it at the time, the silver lining to working at this pace was that it afforded me the ability to revisit things with fresh eyes each time. The third draft of the zine took a long time to complete, largely due to the self-assigned torture of trying to write a foreword to come before the photos. I wanted to just have a little bit of text at the beginning of the book to let you know how important the trip was to me and how much the work means to me and all that. And what a fucking mistake that was, to be honest. I couldn't find a balance, and no matter what I did, like I edited my words 100 times, and every time it was pretty cringe. So I abandoned that idea and I went with a short sentiment instead. With another £35.50 spent, version 3 of American Daydream arrived, and to say I was nervous to review this is an understatement. Thankfully, version 3 was pretty spot on. I decided to put a spine back on it so that it can live on a shelf or in a stack of books and be easily identifiable from the side. I also completely redone the notebook scans in a way that makes them feel so much more natural to the page. And maybe my favourite new thing is these Statue of Liberty coloured pages at the beginning and end of the book. There is loads of wee changes in there, but them's the highlights. Finally, after 3 editions and like 6 months of back and forth, I can now honestly say I'm so happy with the finished product, and I just put in the order for the first edition of 50 copies. If you would like to own your own copy of American Daydream, you can now pre-order through the link in my description. Pre-orders will only be open until Wednesday the 12th of June. After that, I'll be taking any remaining copies out into the real world. I'm going to try and get them in some like photography hotspots and bookshops and stuff, and then anything after that will be made available again on my website, but that won't be for a while. Speaking of pre-orders, let's talk about the giveaway. In part 3 of the Making a Photobook series, I teased giving away this very old and very special camera to a random lucky person who placed a pre-order for the book. Okay, so the camera is a Leica. Some people had already correctly guessed this. It's an IIC or IIF or 3C or 3F. I'm finding it difficult to narrow it down which one it is, but it's the one that has this like little collapsible lens on it. I was very generously gifted this camera by a man named Brian, who I was just walking around town and seen him and wanted to take his portrait, and as I was taking his portrait with my M6, he was like, "Oh cool, a Leica, I have a Leica, you can have it if you want it." And that was insane. That was so crazy. So nice of him. My luck sometimes is unbelievable. Okay, here's the thing. I got a little bit excited about passing on the joy of receiving a Leica, and I didn't test it before I said I would give it away. Brian never put a single roll through this. He literally bought it in whatever year he bought it, and then it just sat in that little leather case for all those years. And when I opened it, it had all the original tape and all the original packaging and all that kind of stuff. So I wrongly assumed that it was in perfect condition. It is not. This camera is so old that the cloth shutter on the inside of the camera has deteriorated over time, and it has like all these little pinhole light leaks on it. I did shoot one roll with it and develop it, so I'll show those photos now so that you can see the kind of issues I'm talking about. So I phoned a bunch of camera repair specialist people and asked them what could be done about the issue, and the simple answer was not much. And I only phoned around a couple of like local camera repair places, so I'm not saying it's totally irreparable. I'm just saying that all of a sudden this giveaway is not so great. So to make up for that unfortunate discovery, I'm also going to include 2 rolls of colour film. This is Kodak 200 speed film. I can't remember if it's Kodak Gold or if it's Kodak Color Plus. I'm pretty sure it's Kodak Gold, but I mean, film in this economy, I do still think the camera will make a beautiful addition to any collector's collection, a super impressive paperweight, or you could actually just sell it for parts. You could take that lens off and put it on eBay, and I'm sure you would have no trouble selling it as well. But regardless, I am very sorry I didn't check the camera first. I just got a bit excited.
Well, I hope this was worth the wait. I really appreciate everyone's patience with me while I figured out how to make this project actually come to life in a way that I was happy with. To anyone that's messaged me or said to me in person that they were excited for the book, I can't tell you how helpful that was, getting through all these months of adjusting every little detail. It really meant a lot, so thank you very much. If you do place a pre-order between now and the 12th of June, you can expect to have your copy of American Daydream in your grubby little paws by the end of June, beginning of July. Okay, genuinely, one more time, thank you very much for all the support, getting this done and everything else. I really do appreciate it. Speak soon. Bye. That was the best one yet.